God can use you in your mess if you are willing to come out of your mess. Some of us have made mistakes like Rahab. I did. You did. I remember my life before I found Christ was not something that really did honor God. My heart was far away from Him, and I enjoyed myself in living my life on my own terms and conditions. But when I came to Christ and I gave my life fully to Him, everything changed. When you give your life to Christ, He will turn your life around for His glory. God is looking for people like us, the Rahabs of our time, people who will leave our old life behind to join and follow Jesus. Today, in today's video, we talk about my Rahab story, your Rahab story, how we can be the Rahabs in the 21st century to win souls for Christ. People with the worst past can be created for the best future. In the Bible, Joseph sent men into the city of Jericho to scope out the land. Out of all the people in the whole city, they ended up in the house of the prostitute named Rahab. Because Rahab was a harlot, many men visited her home. When the spies arrived at her house, she knew what her duty was, and she opened her home to them. Wow. When the king heard that spies were in the city, he sent his men to go and find them. And the first place they searched was Rahab's house. Whilst the king's men were searching, however, Rahab was silent about the spies and their whereabouts. She was good at keeping a secret. These days, if someone tells you or shares a secret with you, some people are not able to hold it. They run and tell somebody else, or they post it on their social media pages. Rahab was different. She gave the spies her word. They told her that if she looked out for them, they would look out for her. Rahab didn't allow how people viewed her to stop her from being obedient to the word of God. She was a brave woman who risked her life to save the lives of Joshua's men. Whilst the streets were full with chaos, calamity, and fear, she kept her composure and she put her trust in the Lord. She didn't lose faith. She didn't lose hope. She kept on holding on to the word she had heard. Unlikely to be the candidate chosen to make a change, Rahab was considered as an outcast. People then and now probably look down on her because of the life she lived. Rahab in today's world would have been considered as one of the bad girls in the Bible and will seem like a person that no one will want to put in charge of something to make change. Rahab lived a different culture, her lifestyle was unholy, but God knew she was powerful and that He would deliver the spies from capture or captive or being captured. She knew how the Lord made a dry path during the Red Sea era. She knew all about God and was ready to serve and fear the Lord. And because of Rahab's response to Joshua's men, she was saved. Her faith persuaded her, moved her to tie the red garland outside her window. And she believed with everything within her that the men would come back and God would deliver her and her house. And yes, God did. When the entire city was destroyed, Rahab and her family were saved. She turned away from her false God, left her unholy lifestyle of prostitution, and gave everything she had, and placed her trust in God. I love Rahab. Rahab was clever. She was bold. She was trustworthy. She had a strong, firm faith. And she was indeed a woman of great faith. God can use you in your mess if you are willing to come out of your mess. We've all made mistakes. We've all lived lives like Rahab. It might not be prostitution, but we all have that one thing in our closet that doesn't make us seem right with God. But if we decide to give it all out to Him, He will save us and He will protect us. When you give your life to Jesus, when you meet Him, all things change for the better. And in order to experience His fullness, we have to let go of whatever was our pain, our hurt, our past, because God can turn our lives completely around. If He changed me, He can change you. God will give you beauty for your ashes. He will give you rainbow after the dark cloud. God doesn't care about who you were. He cares about what you become in Him. Because He will be able to transform you into what God has called you to be. Don't let your past sins overcome you. Jesus died so that you will be free from sin. Why are you still holding on to your past? The past mistakes, the past misfortunes, the past hurts? Yes, I know you have a past. I also have a past. We've all done things that we weren't proud of in our past. But it is God that holds our future. Sometimes your faith will be tested for your purpose. Sometimes you will have to leave your old life behind in order to live out God's purpose for your life. Never allow what was change your perspective on what God wants you to be. It's time to walk in your freedom. It's time to let God use you for His glorification. So it is time for you to stop looking back. God is looking for women and men who will be able to say, yes, I'm going to do your work and I'm going to allow you to use me to make huge impact in the society we find ourselves in. It doesn't matter how horrible you think your story is. God will use you for His testimony, and your story will bring souls to Christ, just as Rahab. So we all have our Rahab story. The story of Rahab is a perfect example of God's faithfulness, of His unconditional love for us, and His promises to be revealed. If He could use Rahab, He could use you, He could use me. Rahab's story is a story that demonstrates God's grace and mercy. So as we go along our day today, don't forget, hold on, and know that your past mistakes can't hold you down, and that God placed you there for His purpose, and your story will change the life of someone else. Thank you very much for watching, and if you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, don't forget to click on the subscribe button, like and share our video.